Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Market Update Show. And today is Friday, so we'll be doing a market wrap up as well as I will be doing technical analysis for you guys on QQQ and the S&P 500, as well as the 6 big tech stocks: Tesla, Google, Amazon, Nvidia, Apple, and Microsoft. So I'll be doing them really briefly today to show you guys what potentially the most likely scenario they will do, and they will be affecting QQQ because those are the biggest weightings in QQQ, and QQQ would be affecting SPY if QQ starts to drop, as well as we'll be going through economic data for next week and the most likely scenario that the market will be heading into next week, as well as a VIX and as well as a couple of data as well. Let's get into it. So right now for next week, we have CPI data on Tuesday. So forecast is same as last time, and previously we had 4.9. So if we do get like a slight uptick, market potentially may sell off due to not because of an uptick, it's just because of how much market has ran, especially QQQ. We were overextended overall, and combined with other factors as well. Once we take a look at the sentiment as well, and so that's a potential factor. And we know that rate hikes is already priced in for a couple of weeks already. So we'll have to see how the market actually reacts to it once the Fed actually says they're holding. And on Wednesday, we'll have PPI as well. So that's also another inflation data. It's always followed by CPI. And at the same time, it's going to be the Fed's rate hike decision if they're going to hold or just hike. But so far, everybody is pricing in a pause. And Thursday would be the initial job claims and core retail sales data that would affect. So these are all 3 stars, meaning the more 3 stars are the highest volatility that would cause the market to move. All right, so we can see CPI data has been trending down for the past 6, 8, 9 months, and just like a stock, so when it goes down, it needs a breather too. So right now we're seeing a slowdown in the way it's trending down. So they could potentially be a small uptick before we head even lower. So that's something that we got to be cautious if we do see that happening, because it's normal for it to just tick up and then a little bit just to before it heads to lower. As well as the sentiment data this week came in yesterday, and I'll show you guys that we got to be very cautious, especially as a bull now, due to the ship has all tilted to one side, so everyone is now bullish, and that potentially will cause more of a sell-off, or at least a slight dip to a sideways action for market to cool off at the very least. And I'm looking for a weekly consolidation. I'll show you guys later what that means. And so yeah, we shifted from literally 29 to 44 in just 1 week. So that's a huge shift. You can see the bearishness just went from we're bearish all these weeks, and the market just continued to go up, and finally everyone decides to go bullish, and you can see now we're 24%. Everyone decides to go bullish at pretty much the near-term top of the market, at least for QQQ. So we'll see how that plays out next week. And my biggest concern would be, it's not a concern, but like my biggest, I'll say next week would be a weekly consolidation, and as well as the following week. And we're also heading into Q3, which is not that ideal for the market in general. So seasonality also comes into play, and this week have been looking at it already. So we all know that it's a pause and hike. We did see the Canadian bank hike on Wednesday, so that could be a curveball that we have to see if the Fed actually pauses or hikes. Let's get into the charts. And if you guys want to skip to any tickers or symbols that you want to look at, that's your stock, just click on the timestamp stamps below. I have laid out all the timestamps. You can just skip through those parts. All right, so first we're going to look at Tesla. And yesterday I talked about where if we break above this structure, we are likely going to test the high of this structure. So let's take a look at, I'm just going to do the volume profile real quick for you guys. So bring this one down closer to here. So when we broke this structure, which is the very likely scenario, we're going to go test above this value area high, which is when you see all these bars, it means the volume traded. You can see that means lower volume here and higher volume here. So the more volume there is in the area, the more likely the stronger the resistance or the support is going to be. And when we broke this red looking line, which is the point of control, which is the highest volume area, of that, the most likely scenario is we're going to test the value area high, which is where we got to pretty much exactly at that point. And I would say we are pretty overextended. And we've been talking about Tesla for a couple months back when we were talking about this here. And as to all the bulls who bought it, obviously down here in these sports zones, and they're up quite a bit. 2% if you add it around here. Even if you add it around the top of these zones, you guys are still all green. So congrats to you guys. So what am I looking at going forward? Now we are quite extended. So we are looking for now a weekly, at least. Okay, the very first step, we need an hourly downtrend. So when that hourly downtrend forms, then we can start to look for a daily consolidation. And that would start to mark a daily consolidation for us before we even want to see another. Let's say we have another leg up, right? None of us know, but if we're going to have another leg up, we need at least some kind of forms of consolidation for the bulls to take a breather before we have a move up into the next chart, which is up at this guy and this guy. So before that happens, I want to see a consolidation. But the bulls are still in absolute full control. If you go to that 4-hour time frame, I've talked about this for many weeks. As long as the bulls hold this 12 EMA, which is a tail looking line, on the 4-hour time frame, you should go to the 4-hour time frame, and that is just absolute full control. As you can see, bounce off of here, bounce off of here. This is a glitch on the chart. Bounce off of here, bounce off of here, and let's say it goes sideways next week, so that the EMA and all indicators catch up, and we touch it, maybe break below it a little bit, forms a wick, bounce back off of it again, goes higher. That's full bull control at the moment. So first step, we want to see an hourly downtrend and then break this 12 EMA. Then that would be the first sign of when there's for just to shape up a daily consolidation. So none of that has happened yet. So make sure you follow the trend. Just don't want to short blindly. And even if you, for example, if you're like, oh, this is too extended, I'm just going to short right here, right? Next thing you know, you are in the red already. Even though we are overextended in this range. Overextended can always stay overextended due to emotions of fear and greed. We are currently in a 78 fear and greed index at extreme greed overall in the market, and we'll see if the bulls can continue to hold strong. We'll have to see if Tesla can actually hold like it did over here when QQQ pulled back. And on these 2 days, it did hell a lot stronger than QQQ, so that's a good sign for the bulls. Still relative strength. So bulls have nothing to worry about at the moment. And Google, one of the weakest big techs in the last couple of days, potentially shaping up a daily downtrend. So right after this drop, we are now back in a neutral trend due to breaking the prior pivots for the daily uptrend. Setting a daily higher low right there. See that wick? We broke above yesterday's high. So now daily higher low set. So now the question is, can the bears break prior lows? So if we do break that prior low right there, that's a daily downtrend confirmed. So that's what the big tech stocks are shaping up into next week. That is my concern. Where QQQ hasn't formed a daily downtrend at all yet. You can see it, or even close to shaping one up because we broke this high. But all the big tech stocks are starting to form this pattern here, other than Apple. But we'll get into that in a second. So even Amazon here, we start to shape up a little bit here. See, this bounce forms a lower high. If we do break that low again right here, it would also form a daily downtrend. Now, no signs of red flag yet. We're still holding the EMA 12 on the daily time frame. You can see it bounces off it in the last couple of weeks. It's been trending on it. before that happens, we want to see a break and shape up a daily downtrend for us to be more concerned. Hourly is in a neutral trend due to us really just chopping around all day today. So as long as we break this low, then we are back to a downtrend. But as of now, we will keep one or the other before we decide. Let's see Google's. Yep, same thing. Tightening there. Eventually, Monday. 4-hour also looks as a 4-hour is also a neutral trend. We also broke this pivot. So this is an uptrend. Now it's now a neutral trend. We broke 4 hours. Same thing on the daily chart. If it breaks below here, it's also a 4-hour downtrend. Very similar to Google. Taking a look at Nvidia. Nvidia is a bit different. So Nvidia broke out of this falling wedge bullish. Falling wedge is usually bullish if we have a huge up prior to that falling wedge, meaning that's a bull flag of a continuation of the move. And the problem is we broke bullish out of the falling wedge with no follow through from the bulls, and we just sold off all that move back into the end of the day. So that's a small red flag for the bulls. So we need the bears to confirm trend changes back to their favor. We'll see if the bears can be at least the so they did form an hourly downtrend here, but they ran out of time at the end of the day. You can see right there is a double bottom. Right there at the last hour of the day. So it's a big move down, move up, broke right a couple pennies here compared to that low. That's an hourly downtrend confirmed. Especially there's a red flag because you broke out of this falling wedge bullish with a uptrend of the hourly, and now you're confirming a hourly downtrend. So that's a red flag for bulls. So we'll see if the bears will follow through on Monday to confirm a clear break of the hourly downtrend. Otherwise, we should call this a double bottom. And bulls playing defense here. So don't know that yet because the bears ran out of time. It was just like the last hour, and determine that. Take a look at Apple. So Apple is holding the strongest out of all the big techs. You can see daily uptrend is still intact. Everything is also intact. So Apple is looking good, and if Apple doesn't break down, QQQ probably won't break down that much as well. But if you see Amazon, Google, Nvidia, and Microsoft all start breaking down, right? Apple's not going to just like stand there by itself and hold everything up. And I mean, we've seen that before, but it's rare. So we'll see how Apple can hold. To the 2-day EMA 12 guide, it's going to still be my absolute full bull control guide. You can see ever since March. So that's 3 months. Apple has been bouncing off of it, holding off it perfectly. So we'll see if it comes back to it. We are roughly 3% away from that EMA 12. So once the EMA catches up, and Apple, let's say, have one red day or something, touches it, are we going to see a bounce and continuation and test the all-time highs, or we're going to break down from there and tech stocks? So we'll see that on Monday as well. Microsoft also really shaping up like Google. You can see this drop right there, big enough drop where I always talk about the drop or the bounce got to be big enough. Now we're scouting that lower high. So when this high is lower than this high, that's when you can potentially short. So before we had no short opportunities due to this move. None of this move had a big enough drop. Up, way down, wave up, way down, wave up, way down, wave up, way down, uptrend is perfectly intact, and there was no red flags. So now we have a big enough drop where the next bounce, there's a higher probability chance of it just setting a lower high for continuation of the move downwards. So now let's zoom in and see if it's actually shaping up. So it is potentially shaking up. Just like every other tech stock today, we have an equilibrium just chopping sideways in the zone. So once that breaks, then we'll know which way it wants to retest this double top to, or we're just going to go straight down and form a daily downtrend. Key for me. We have a lot of data next week, CPI and the Fed. So there might be a little bit of, profit taking and into before Tuesday CPI data, because we have been running quite a bit. So profit taking won't be a surprise for me. Due to the size of the move, we have been running 44% since January. So this makes sense for a little bit of profit taking. And all right, let's take a look at SPY. So SPY and test exactly this top right here we had last August. And it pulled back with QQQ as well after the morning initial pop. So now we are back to this zone right here. The prior higher resistance is now acting as support, and we close above it. So what the bulls want to see is we bounce off of that and retest this area again next week. What the bears want to see is we just straight back into the sideways range. That means it's a bull break with no follow through, and now we're just back into that range. That'll be a red flag for the bulls, especially if you break this price support. That'll be a big red flag for the bulls. You just shoot back in here, we're likely going to bounce to retest this area again, and if it rejects, then that's going to be a downtrend. And for the bulls, obviously, it's this level, high, where it coincides with this high. And the most key thing for me is going to be QQQ, because QQQ is going to determine which way the SPY is going to break. So we have rejected from this zone roughly, I would say 5 times today, this week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So. And we just took a look at all 6 of the big tech stocks. 3 of them are shaping up that daily downtrend very soon if we do get one more leg down. So if that happens, then QQ is likely going to come back down here to retest that level again. And so if that happens, SPY very likely coming back into this sideways zone. So we'll see Monday if we do get that or not. As of now, QQQ is in an equilibrium. Wave up, wave down, tightens up, tightens up, tightens up, tightens up. We will get a break on Monday. This is our early chart. So very likely we will see which way it breaks on Monday. That will definitely determine which way. If QU both bear breaks just even to here, Google is going to have a daily downtrend formed. Just look, there's only about 1%. So QQ pulls back like that, we are getting a downtrend confirmed on Google and Amazon and Microsoft. Apple is still not yet, and so that we'll see if Apple starts to weaken when the other 3 forms a daily downtrend. All right, and the VIX, we are at all-time lows, so we gotta also be cautious as well. And then VIX is at all-time lows, and as well as the sentiment data is shift to the bull side. So we don't want to be trading when everybody is on one-sided. So we gotta be cautious here into next week for sure. But as always, follow the trend, because bullishness can stay bullishness for longer, and market is always up 70% of the time. But we are extended, so we gotta be cautious and to set our stop losses close and take profits. So that's all I got for you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the natural gas update. And on Sunday, I will do a super detailed technical analysis on these 6 Tesla, Google, Amazon, Nvidia, Apple, and Microsoft, where I actually give you guys more levels and potentially trends to play off of as well. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, and have a great weekend.